right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Georgia-Alabama Sports Live and the Glenwood Coaches Show. Here with Coach Ryan Nelson of the Glenwood Gators, the undefeated Glenwood Gators.
Yes, sir.
And a big win on Friday night over in Beulah on the road, and hard-fought game, at least for a half.
Yes, for sure.
But we'll start by talking about that game as we go in, and we'll get your thoughts on the season so far and what you got coming up.
Yep.
And we'll just kind of go through it.
Awesome.
But so Friday night, you go over to Beulah.
Yep.
And you get a pick six to start the game, which is, tailor-made.
Yes.
But then here comes Beulah.
That's right.
My goodness, here comes Beulah. And so just kind of give me your thoughts of what was going on.
Yeah, so I mean, just definitely, going into game 5.
Mm-hmm.
So and the weather picked up a little bit last week on us, and it was a very hot, humid game that we played in.
Yes,
a game that we hadn't played in probably since game 2 when we went to Elba. So we kind of had to battle that definitely in the second half, but. Just a credit to our defense and Cam Cooper stepping up and making a huge play. They got in a formation we really worked all week, and we knew they was going to kind of sneak one of the upbacks out and try to throw what we call a little naked route over there. And Mekhi Simpson did a heck of a job of staying at home and making the quarterback kind of flush and come back the other way. And he kind of threw the ball up for grabs. And Cam made a great play and took it to the house for right about a 50-yard pick six. So could not ask for a better start. And then, like you said, they kind of got it going offensively on us. And it wasn't so much of, just straight that what they did to us. I think as we got back and we really watched the film and things like that, we had a lot of self-inflicted wounds and a lot of our mistakes. But you always got to give other teams credit when they make plays on you. So we have a lot of stuff we have to clean up in the secondary. And, anytime you give up, over 200 yards passing, it's not going to be a good night. So we got back to work at it today, and I know we got better today in the secondary, so a lot of cleanup over there, but it was good for us. It was good for us to face a quarterback that could throw the ball. We really hadn't seen a guy that throws the ball like that except for the first game against Valley, and they didn't throw it a whole lot, but really, so that's the first time we've seen that in 5 weeks. But credit to our offense coming out in the second quarter and really playing really well. I thought Levi played really well again.
Yep.
Mason McCrane made some big time plays for us. Yes. Cal Lawrence made some big time plays for us. Cam Cooper, throw him in there, had some big plays, and then both our running backs just the two-headed monster with 4 and 1 with JB and Jermaine Brown and Mekhi Simpson, just able to get them going throughout. More JB in the first half, and then Mekhi in the second half, and just leaned on them, and so it ended up being a great night. But yes, it was definitely a struggle. We knew Beulah had a good football team. I knew they was well coached, and we knew they had a good quarterback. So and it came out, and they did some things to us defensively that that we hadn't seen, and that we got to get corrected. But I can't say enough about the adjustments we made at halftime, especially defensively. And then coming out and playing a really good second half, and then offensively just keeping our our foot on the pedal and finishing drives and scoring touchdowns right there.
I think I made the remark on the broadcast on Friday night that the first half was like a tennis match.
It was.
Because it was
back and forth.
Glenwood scores, Beulah scores, Glenwood scores, Beulah scores,
right.
And it was not what we were expecting going in. We didn't necessarily think that you were going to come in there and walk.
Right.
But I know we talked about it in our pregame and when we did our weekly show that we felt like you would handle business.
Well, I mean, and
they are a good football team,
they are.
And we knew that.
And that's what people don't really understand about football is, especially when you have to go on the road,
right,
and you're playing a team that's, fighting for the life too. And look, they got a good program, like I said, with a good quarterback, and they came out and played really well. Teams ain't just going to lay down because you got Glenwood across your chest. So
and they wanted to prove something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most certainly they did. So, but I can't credit our guys enough. again, for coming out and just finishing the deal. Just getting over that first half, that sloppiness, and like I said, we had a lot of self-inflicted wounds right there. You give up a 4th and 15 for a touchdown on the second drive of the game for them, and then we're sitting there in a 14-10 ball game, and they're going to attempt a 50-plus yard field goal, and we were off the kicker and to extend the drive. So then they go down and score right there and make it 17-14. So like you said, it was a back and forth battle in the first half. Luckily, we was able to get in at half, up 10 points, 34-24, and then kind of take the opening possession of the second half down and take some life out of them right there.
And one thing I felt like was key too. Coming into the game, they had a pretty strong rushing attack, and I thought you guys played the run extremely well.
We did.
And didn't let them get out any real big plays on the ground.
We did.
Most of their damage was done through the air.
Yep.
Talk about your defensive front and the job they did.
Yeah, so we landed on, I think, right at 46 yards rushing for the game. So they got in a couple sets where they got in the center and the eye and some unbalanced things that hurt us in the first half, where we just didn't make adjustments. But we got it corrected at the half, and so we was able to kind of slow that down in the second half. But I think the biggest thing is Emory Davis again this week played an outstanding ball game. Markel Robbins is another name that just played a tremendous game, and then Tyler Sykes and Aaron Carter and Carter Ross and Brendan Niles in there just plugging things up. And I thought JoJo had another good game for us. Josiah Clark, Klein Edwards, again Cameron Cooper, and Makai Simpson. So our front held steady. It helped a lot. Their quarterback kind of tweaked his ankle a little bit, so he wasn't as dynamic as a runner as he had been. But I really felt good, and I thought we played really well up front with our front seven defensively. We just kind of, it was good to play in a game like that for our back end to get some work and things like that. So again, we got some things we got to, show up back there or just get better at. And a lot of it's communication and being in the right calls and being in the right spots. We call the coverage we're looking at and things like that. So. But again, it was a good coaching moment for us, a good teaching moment for us, and hopefully we get better from it.
Well, and second half was almost like a different ball game.
Yep.
You came out, you got the ball, you scored quick, and you didn't really put them away right away, but you took a lot of wind out of their sails.
Well, again, we score, we get a stop, we get off the field, and we give up a fake punt where there's 3 tackles on our sideline, and you sit there and you wonder if it's scheme and things like that. But sometimes players got to make plays, and that's one thing that we just didn't do on the fake punt. We were there to make the plays, and we didn't make them. So you move on, you tip your cap to them. They made a play, but that's just one thing I really harped on with our coaches this weekend was. We're getting off the field. It was we got to get completely off the field. So, and a lot of that has to do with special teams also. So we got to get some things showed up. We'd run into the kicker and the fake punt and things like that. And it should never happen when we're in what we call our safe, where we're not even setting up return. Right. We're playing for the fake and things like that. And I can't say enough about Makai. What he did in the second half, just coming out and just being a bulldozer and just giving him the rock and him. Scoring 4 touchdowns, and he was very hard to tackle in the third and fourth quarter. They got tired, and he got going. So, like I say, every week that kid is getting better and better and better. And the more he gets and plays and gets his body back in shape, he's going to continue to be a bulldozer for us.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier the job that Levi Pender did.
Yes.
The whole ball game. I mean, he orchestrated your offense probably about as well as you could want him to.
Right.
Wasn't perfect, but
that's right.
But then again, he seemed in complete control, kept his composure all night, made some great throws, made some really good decisions. Talk about what it is to have a senior like that's running your offense.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I say this every week about Levi. He's just so much of a relaxed, cool, calm competitor that when he gets out there, the pressure doesn't faze him. And I credit him. The first glance, what we call a little glance route that he threw to Mason, I think on our second possession when we scored on, and he just threw a dot in there and just dropped it right over to safety right there, and Mason made a good catch and run right there. But you're right, he had a couple busts the other night, what's very uncharacteristic of him, and it don't happen a lot. But sometimes things get going fast, and you get confused out there, and it's going to happen. That's being in high school. That's dealing with the kind of offense we play in. So things like that happen. But I can't be more happy for him. And he was able to actually get in there and run the football a little bit for us too the other night. So good to see that, and we want to continue for him to progress running the ball and things like that. But just I think we had right at 6-7 different guys catch balls, and that's who we want to be. We want to spread the ball around. we feel like we got good backs back there. We got to get things going on the perimeter like the other night and be as balanced as we can. I think we were right at 273 yards throwing, and I think we were right at 273 yards rushing the other night. So when you talk about balance, that's about as good as you can get. But he did such a good job, especially on early downs, being able to distribute the ball. We're a huge RPO offense, so when we got the perimeter throws, he took them, and we was able to be successful with that.
Well, I'll tell you, you mentioned Mason, and it's got to be a great feeling to have a 6'6" guy. And Levi's got to feel good about being able to lay the ball up and let him go get it.
Right, ain't no doubt. And that's what Mason is. I mean, he's a basketball guy, he's a baseball guy, but like you said, he's 6'6". So, I tell him all the time, just go up and rebound the ball.
Yeah, I thought the fade pattern was just a great play.
It was.
He put it where nobody could catch it except Mason.
That's right.
And he just went up and got it. It was a beautiful play.
He's a huge red zone target, but it's like you saw on the 80-yard touchdown that he called. I mean, the kid's got real speed too. So he's starting to come onto his own too. And but Mason's been a good player for us for 3 years, and we just got for him to continue to be a great player for us and to continue to do what he's doing, and hopefully we can do that.
All right. Well, let's take a break real quick, and we'll come back and we'll talk to some players real quick and keep this thing going. You're watching the Glenwood Coaches Show on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Hey, on the mountain we've got a saying. Get off your... Touchdown! Woo! Mountain Dew!
My name is Quinteria Perry, and this is my CVCC story. I've graduated from CVCC with my associates in medical assistant, and I received my certification from CVCC. The training that I got from CVC and being prepared to come and do clinicals helped tremendously. I started looking at scholarships, and the ambassador scholarship was interesting to me because you did events to earn your scholarship and you meet people. I would recommend CVCC to anyone that asks because of the scholarships, the teachers, the small stuff that you can't get at a university.
Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC presents a fantastic lineup of popular full-size SUVs and mid-size trucks. Compare side by side. Take your choice from new Chevrolet Tahoes and GMC Yukons, discounted up to $7,000 off. Or Chevy Colorado and GMC Canyons, discounted up to $5,000 off. Experience unmatched durability, powerful engines, and advanced technology. Choose your perfect vehicle today at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
All right, and we're back here at Mike and Ed's in Phoenix City, the Glenwood Coaches Show. Got a couple of Gators with us now. Coach, introduce who you brought with you tonight.
Yeah, so we got two guys right here with us. We got number 3 right here to my right, Cameron Cooper, and then number 72 at the end down there, Tyler Sykes.
All right. Cam, I got to ask you, very early in the ball game, did you know you had a pick 6 when you caught that ball?
No, sir. I was really excited when I caught the ball. And I really thought someone was chasing me from behind, so I kept looking back. But then I saw the quarterback, so I just stood for him and just ran it for the end zone.
Yeah, what's that feeling like to grab a pick 6 early in a game like that and kind of get your foot on the gas a little bit for your team?
It was really exciting. I feel like I set the tone early in the game and brought energy to the team.
Yeah. All right, and Tyler. Talk about the season so far for you guys. If somebody had told you back in June or July that you'd be 5-0 at this point, what would you have agreed with them, or would you have said,
of course,
that'd be pretty doggone good, But what you think about being 5-0 right now?
I mean, I think it's awesome. I know what we did this summer and what the guys who didn't play spring sports, what they did in the spring. And I know what we did during fall camp, and I just know that the guys we got in our room, they're competitors, and they like to compete, and, we all like to win. But, I mean, if you would have asked me last spring, I totally would agree with you. I think we would have been 5-0 and, having a great season so far.
Well, how cool is it coming out of AISA, going into AHSAA, and you guys have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that you belong here and that you can compete at this level when, a lot of people probably were going, I don't know how that first season's going to go. But you guys came off the bat. Now, I'll be honest, I was doing that game against Valley, and it's 20-0, and it's not looking great. And then all of a sudden, things started happening. And you come back and you get a great win in that first game. And since then, you guys have done nothing but prove week after week that you're right where you need to be. And what's that feel like as a player? Both of you guys can take that one on if you want to.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know how to word it.
You fine, though.
You good?
Yeah, I don't know how to word it.
Do you feel like you've proved something so far?
I mean, yes, sir, obviously. But, like I said, I know that, we're taught not to give up.
Right.
And that's one thing that I'm grateful that the Glenwood culture has taught all of us is that, giving up's not an option. And we got a great coaching staff who all played, at the college level at some point, so they know what it takes.
Yeah.
And they know whenever adversity, strikes, what are you going to do from then? Are you going to lay down, or are you going to punch back? So, I think that's one thing that Coach Nelson and the coaching staff have preached to us, and we showed that we're capable of doing that.
Right. Well, and I know enough about this guy's background and his dad and how he was taught that 5-0 is great, but you know what? You got a game this week. You can't rest on 5-0. You can't play this week on last week's effort. So, how's that been every week going through, keeping yourself aligned and keeping yourself from maybe reading too many headlines and all that kind of stuff? What kind of process do you guys go through getting ready every week?
We just keep the same mindset, attack the team that we're playing. Don't underestimate any team. We're playing a 1A school this week, and just because their classification is low doesn't mean they're going to be bad or anything. We have some teammates that we played Shrewsbury, and they were saying that it's going to be a blowout. So just because that team didn't look good on film doesn't mean they were going to come and just let us win.
Right.
We got to work for it.
Right. You got to work for it every
Good
week.
answer.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned this week you're playing Wadley, #1 team in 1A, and it's kind of a rural school, small town, in just a couple of counties over. I'm familiar with it because I'm from the county next door to them, and I coached in the county with Wadley in my first coaching job way back when I was a young pup. So I'm very familiar with that little small town, and the program they've built there is pretty strong, and they're very proud. But it is going to be a tough game because they're taught just like you guys are. They're taught to fight every week and fight for everything that they get. What do you know? You guys know anything about them so far, and what you're going to see?
We know that they have a great football team. They have a great running back and a linebacker. He's really good. But like I said, we experienced it with Elba. They had a really good running back, but we're gonna hit him. We're gonna get him to the ground, and we're gonna put him away quick.
All right. Well, cool. Well, wish you the best this week, you guys. I hope you have a great week of school, and hopefully this weather that they say is coming is not going to throw a kink in things.
Maybe it's just cool us off a little bit because it's been hot again today.
That'd be great.
Boy, I'm telling you what.
Because I tell you, it was muggy Friday night in the press box, so I know it was muggy down on the field. But we're going to take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll do another segment here. And you are watching the Glenwood Coaches Show here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Let's go! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Woo! Football time! Set the tone. Kyle, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. Yeah, good job. Woo! Yeah!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC offers popular full-size trucks with a legacy of strength and durability. Side by side, the new Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500s, discounted up to $13,000 off. Or big, heavy-duty Chevy and GMC 2500s, discounted up to $8,000 off. Rugged durability, powerful engines, and advanced technology. Choose your perfect truck today at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
My name is Sergeant Jason Swells, and this is my CVCC story. Class sizes were not too large. The professors in each class had time to talk. It was almost like a one-on-one experience. CVCC did prepare me for my career. They made sure you knew the subject before you walked out of the class, before you took the test. They dedicated 100% of themselves to it. I can say for anybody who's deciding or thinking about going into criminal justice, CVCC got my vote all day long because they're on top of their game.
Football is back, and the only thing that makes it better is some delicious food from Zaxby's.
And we're back here at Mike and Ed's in Phoenix City. Come enjoy some good barbecue here at Mike and Ed's. And once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors in Georgia Alabama Sports Live for all they do for us each week, and like to thank Mike and Ed's for letting us host this show here and the good food that they have. Coach, you've got Wadley coming up this week, and you know a lot of people may say, well, Glenwood's a little bit bigger school, and you know they got a lot of talent, but you and I know that that's a pretty doggone good football team sitting over there in Randolph County, and in a little small town, and they've scored a lot of points this year.
Number one offense in the state of Alabama right now, averaging 55.4 points a game right now.
I think they scored 60 or 62 again Friday night.
They did.
You guys scored 62 as well, but you know, that is a, you know, what kind of challenge is it for you to face a team like this?
Well,
going in.
First and foremost, I mean, you know, Wally traditionally, I mean, this coach has done an outstanding job over there. He's won a lot of football games, you know, since he's been over there. They've played for state championship games. They've been in the semifinals. They got beaten in the semifinals last year. And again, he's got a tremendous football team again. And when you talk about size of schools, I think people kind of think we're so much bigger because of the multiplier, but we're really not that much bigger than them. So we're within a couple hundred students, if that, probably more like 50, 60 students. So it's going to be a tall task, and you know, it's very similar to when we went to Elba, because they don't have, his name's not Alvin, but his name's Jaquez, I think. So they got a dynamic running back. He's huge. He's right at 6'2", probably 210 pounds. And he's very good. And so, you know, first and foremost, we got to figure out how to slow him down. He also plays inside linebacker for him. So, you know, he's got several, you know, SEC Power 5 offers already as a junior. So he's a really good ball player. And, you know, they're really physical up front on both sides of the ball. So we're going to have our hands full. Going to be a completely different ball game than we played last week. As far as, you know, they're not fixing to sit back there and be throwing the ball, you know, 30 times in a game. They're going to line up in 2 tight ends and a wishbone, and they're going to come right at you. So we've had to kind of shift our mind starting today to what we're going to see. Then we're also going on the road, and it's what's crazy. This is our 4th road game, and we're in the first 6. So kind of something I guess we're starting to get accustomed to now. So. But I don't know really what we're getting into from a stadium standpoint and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have to kind of deal with that when we get there on Friday. But expecting a hard fought, another 4-quarter war. And it seems like every week we're in one of those games. So, but I told our team this morning when we met, we had team meet first thing this morning. What an opportunity. They're number 1 in 1A. They're undefeated. It's going to be kind of one of these statewide games where everybody's going to be paying attention, watching. So another opportunity to go out and prove ourselves and, you know, play against, you know, some good competition and some great players.
And you talked about the multiplier. Now, if Glenwood didn't have the multiplier applied, would you be 1A or 2A?
We would probably be a 2A, but we'd be more at the bottom of it.
Right there at the level.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but with it being a private school, it's the rules. There ain't nothing you can do about it. So you accept it and you move on.
Yeah, and that's something people need to look at. You know, yeah, you're in Phoenix City, which is a way bigger, more populous area than Wadley is over in Randolph County, but truth be told, not that much bigger as far as your student population.
Not at all.
And they're traditionally, like you said, I coached against them back in the 90s, and they had some good teams back then too. And it was always a hard-fought contest because we were rivals. I was just right down the road in Newside at Horseshoe Bend, and we were right there next to each other. They were really the next town that had a football team up from us up the highway, and so we had some good knockdown, drag-out games when we were there. But they beat us a lot, and because they always seem to have really good athletes, and they always seem to be well coached.
They do, and they're accustomed to winning. They know how to win, and I credit Coach. He's done a phenomenal job over there. I think he's been there, right at 18, 19 years, and just every year it seems like he's got a great program. They're always making deep playoff runs, and I see them making a deep playoff run this year also because they got plenty of talent, I can tell you that.
Well, field-wise, I can tell you they got a pretty nice little field. It's probably going to be comparable to what you played at Beulah last week, maybe even a little bit better and a little bit more modernized. They did a lot of work on it about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and improved it a good bit. But it's just it's going to be another good experience for you guys to go
Ain't no doubt.
and play a team on the road like that. And it seems like week in, week out, at least part of the game, you're seeing what your kids are made of.
Yes, ain't no doubt. And I said this back, 5 weeks ago. This schedule we got is unreal. And but it ain't gonna do nothing but help us.
Right.
And so you don't never know. And I hadn't looked ahead to anybody else, but you don't never know. We may face the wishbone here in a couple weeks. So I don't know. So same thing. We played Elba and they ran a single week. And who knows if we don't get in the playoffs and face somebody like that. So the good thing about it is you seeing things that you normally don't see. So it makes you adjust and it makes us have to coach. And but I can't be more happy in our football team right now. Most importantly, we are 5-0 and that's huge. But most importantly, we're 3-0 in the region.
Right.
And we're sitting here with 3 region games left, getting back in the region play next week. So we just feel like if we can just go down there this week and again play at a high level and play another clean game, hopefully we can figure out how to win. But we get back next week, get back in the region play, and we got to figure out how to win.
Right. And I want to go back again and just talk about a little bit about how good is it for the community and for the family at Glenwood that you're having this success? What's that meant so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. To be honest with you, I'm so locked in and with tunnel vision right now. I guess it means that everybody can kind of sigh knowing that we're able to be successful in the whole AISA and public school ball. But I knew kind of going in what we was getting into. I knew it wasn't that much of a big of a difference. You're gonna face some teams probably got a little bit more speed here and there, but ball is ball, and that's one thing I do know. And been a lot of places coaching in my life, and football hasn't changed. So and it's not going to change. So I guess from that standpoint, you have a sigh of relief. But I know what we got in our building. I know what kind of coaching staff we got. I know what kind of players we got. And I come from kind of the old school, like my dad taught me, and like I grew up with some other coaches I worked for, Coach Dubose and Coach Lowe and things like that. Look, man, it's a week by week thing in football. You cannot look ahead. You can't worry about week 8. You can't worry about the playoffs. You can only control what you can control, and that's every single day. If you'll prepare yourself for that Friday, you'll give yourself a chance. If you start looking ahead and worrying about who's winning here or who's winning there or who you play next week, you're going to find yourself losing. Yeah. So I was taught at a young age in football, and that's the one beauty I do love about football is you can come in on Sunday and you can lock in from Sunday to Thursday, and if you'll put everything you got in it for those 3 or 4 days, you'll give yourself a chance to be successful on Friday. And then I've said it on this show plenty of times, and you kind of take Saturday off and we get away, and then we kind of shut that door, and we open up another door for the next week and the next opponent. So, and every team's different, every opponent's different, every coaching staff's different, and so you just gotta get in here and put your work in and figure out a game plan to give our kids the best chance we possibly can to win, and they got to go execute.
Yeah. And your goal is to go 1-0.
Ain't no doubt about it. And as cliche as that sounds, and everybody says it, it is the truth.
It is.
It's the truth. And if the teams and the coaches that can really figure out how to sit there and not worry about the outside and worry about the next week and all that kind of stuff and focus on who they're playing that week and put everything they got into that game, usually are the teams that are successful.
Well, and I think you guys have done a really good job with your players of keeping them at a level where they're not buying in too much to the hype and too much into to the headlines and that kind of thing about, this is a good team, this is a really good team. Well, the last thing you want is for them to think they're a good team and they can't do any wrong, and then that's when you kind of set yourself up.
Well, I think if you'll ask any of these kids or any of these coaches, I'll home them real quick at practice. And that's just one trait that I got that obviously I got from my dad, but you can't sit here and run around like you're better than people, like you've done something, because we hadn't. Our ultimate goal number one was to make the playoffs and try to win the region championship. Well, we hadn't accomplished any of them goals yet.
Right.
So once we accomplish one of them goals, then we can set new goals and things like that. But it's a long season, and we're halfway through it. So we're still trying to find our way. We're still trying to figure out how to get better, because I'll sit here and say this, and I'll say it every year in my coaching. The team that can figure out how to get hot in October, 1st of November, is going to be the team that's going to be the most successful in the playoffs. You play a regular season to get to the playoffs, but as a coach, we are judged, and as a team, we are judged if we can get in the playoffs by what we do in the playoffs. So, we're just trying to figure out how to get there, and then once we get there, you kind of, like I said, close the door, you start a whole new season, everybody's 0-0, and then you try to figure out how to go win one game at a time. So we kind of just keep the same mentality, for the first 10 ball games, week by week. It's a one-game deal, and like you said, we're just trying to go 1-0.
Yeah. And how cool is it to have your dad getting to work
It's
with you?
awesome. I love my dad, and man, we have such a great relationship, and it's kind of almost, I say, it's bigger than father-son, because it's almost like sometimes it's brother or whatever you want to call it. But it's just so awesome getting to grow up in that environment and watching him and learning so much. And people don't understand, like, when I grew up, we would leave the school on a Friday night after the game, and me and him would immediately go to the house, and he would throw the film on, and we'd stay up till 2, 3 in the morning breaking down film. So I grew up in that.
Yeah.
But it's something I always loved, and I always knew I was a baseball guy. I played for high school football, but I was a baseball player. But I always knew my passion was in football, because I love the thrill of being able to scheme people up, going in there, and really, trying to coach, put a game plan together. I learned everything, all that kind of stuff from him. So just awesome getting to grow up in that, and then kind of just be a gym rat and go to work with him on Sundays and sit in staff meetings and be around, and then have the opportunity to go coach for him when I was younger, and then also now kind of the opportunity, I'm the head coach and he gets to come coach for me. So it's just been awesome, and I can't thank him enough for everything he does with our offensive line. Him and Tyler Martin, they've done a wonderful job right now. But he is definitely a huge voice in our building, and he's a very, very big mentor of mine, for sure.
He tells us every time we do a game, he said, guys, I'm going to go home and watch it. He said, I'm going to go home and watch it, see how y'all did.
Exactly.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah,
but I tell you,
that.
the first time I met your dad, golly, I don't remember what year it was. I was coaching at Benjamin Russell, and we coached in the high school all-star game over at Tallahassee together. My head coach and myself came over, and we were part of that coaching staff. And he drove Ronnie Baines crazy because he wanted to win the game. That game was kind of about letting those kids showcase themselves, but he played the game to win it.
That's right.
So we're bunting. We're trying to bunt a guy over. And we're doing all kind of stuff. And it was fun to get to be in the dugout with him, because he was a good baseball coach too. He's a heck of a good baseball coach. And that's the first time I got exposed to him, and met him and was actually spent time with him. And then since then, it's just here and there and yonder since I've come to the Columbus area. Got to be around him a little bit, but what a tremendous honor it is to have that guy.
That is definitely one trait that my father has, is he always competes, and he always wants to win. That's one thing I'm very blessed that I guess genetically that got passed down to me. And I'm very competitive, and but that's the thing in our profession. Everybody wants to win, and if you're doing this and you don't want to win, why are you doing it? So, and I think that's one thing that I learned so much from him about, was just being able to put the work in, and knowing if you do everything you can, a Sunday, a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, then you give yourself a chance to win on Friday.
Right. Well, that's going to about do it for us, folks. Another Glenwood coaches show is in the books, and the Gators will be traveling over to Wadley, Alabama, off Highway 22 over in Randolph County. If you're not doing anything on Friday night, this might be the game to go see. It's not that far away. Pretty easy trip to get there, but for sure, be following along and trying to find out how this one's going. I know I am.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure where I'm going to be Friday night yet, but I'm going to be doing a game somewhere, but I'm going to be following this one on my phone.
That's right.
Trying to see what's going on. But wish you guys the best, and hope everybody stays safe, hope everybody stays injury-free, and I hope you have another great ball game this Friday night.
Yes, sir. That's the plan.
Well, folks, thanks for joining us this week on the Glenwood Coaches Show. We'll be back right here again next Monday with another edition of this show. And join us Friday night on Georgia-Alabama Sports Live, as we'll bring you at least 2 or 3 football games this week for live action. So make sure you join us. Make sure you patronize our sponsors, and come on out to Mike and Ed's and get some good barbecue as they are good enough to allow us to do this every week here. For Coach and myself, so long, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Football is back, and the only thing that makes it better is some delicious food from Zaxby's. They're a proud sponsor of Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. And I can tell you that everyone on this team loves their chicken. Get all the favorites, such as their signature chicken sandwich, or try the new chicken finger tacos with your favorite drink. From amazing salads, wings, chicken fingers, and some of the best drinks around, there isn't a better way to enjoy our broadcast without getting some fantastic meals from Zaxby's. Check out the two here in Phoenix City, one off Crawford Road and the other on US 80. Thank you again to Zaxby's for sponsoring Georgia-Alabama Sports Live, and make sure you call them for all your catering and tailgating needs this football season.